tuned for another episode of the Coming Soon podcast with Spider.
Hello, everybody. Spider here, Coming Soon podcast, of course, here in San Antonio, Texas, with my guest in San Antonio, Texas as well. Gentlemen, how are y'all doing?
Doing all right. Thanks for having us.
Spider.
Now, of course, Jonathan, man, I mean, both you guys, Benji, as far as the film, I mean, this is the Sherlock Holmes Mares of the Night. Now, I had the director on here a while back. Today is actually Sherlock Holmes Day, which is the birthday of the author that Benji, you got to play, man.
Yes, sir. Sir. Sherlock Holmes Day.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes Day, bro. And I mean, when it comes to the movie, of course, the role, I mean, that's a pretty big role. I mean, you got to play the guy that actually created Sherlock Holmes himself. I mean, was there a lot of pressure going into that?
Yeah, it's interesting. As far as we know, he's really not been portrayed in any of kind of the incarnations of Sherlock. So whether that's movies, TV shows, there's really not been a lot of attention paid to the author. Everybody knows that he wrote it, but a lot of people don't really know that much about him. In fact, I was in that camp too prior to getting cast in this. So just the concept of him being a part of the story that CJ is telling was just, in terms of a concept, was such a really cool idea. And then getting to come in and kind of pay homage to him as a person, as a man, in the vision that CJ put together is just such a great thing to be a part of, for sure.
No, and of course, I mean, when it comes to something like that, I mean, fans of Sherlock Holmes. I mean, did you guys come into this being fans of the man, of the book, of the novel?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't read a lot of the books when I was younger, because they were a little too old for me when I was kind of reading hot and heavy.
Right.
But as I grew older, kind of into my teenage years, got into it a little bit, and then of course, we had the BBC Sherlock that came out sometime in the 2010s, 2010s. I don't know when it started, but and that kind of reignited just kind of the fascination with the character of Sherlock Holmes. So that was kind of cool to experience.
No, and of course, man. I mean, the director himself. I do follow him on social media, but he actually was, what was it? The best local filmmaker, man. He was he's running up for I think till June. And that is locally, man. So, I mean, of course, I'm going to be sharing that because, of course, the guy put in a lot of work as well as you guys did. But for him to be able to win that here in San Antonio, man, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a big thing. And I'm sure you guys would agree.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can vote until June 22nd, right?
Right.
And he's in the top 5. So you can vote daily. So go find Sherlock Holmes and Mare of the Night and go vote for him.
Yeah, just set an alarm on your phone, set a reminder, just have it repeat every day.
Every day. Set an alarm.
Every time before you get on social media, vote for the guy, and then go check your Facebook afterwards.
Daily calendar, to-do list. Check.
Definitely.
now, let me tell you, man. I mean, having worked with the guy, I mean, what's some pros as far as how was the setup? I mean, how did everything work for you guys during filming?
Well, a lot of times we would get there and he would have a lot of things already set up. He would already be looking at the thing, trying to get his shots and, really immersed in the set already. So that was comforting.
Nice.
Yeah. It's really amazing. This is my first film experience, and kind of being exposed to it, like coming into a set, and then with CJ specifically. And granted, he's the only director I've ever worked with, but so far he's the best.
There you go.
But no, he's amazing. Like going through and just watching him as you can just kind of see the gears turning as he's seeing the scene play out in his head, and he'll take a step back and contemplate for a little bit, and then go in to get just that perfect shot and that perfect take, and just seeing that process unfold. Being in the scene and then also maybe behind the scenes watching it is just. I mean, they say movie magic, but it really does feel kind of like just a magical experience. It sounds a little cheesy, but it's really cool.
No, for sure. I mean, the fact that the guy, has put a lot of thought and process into this. I mean, I'm sure, being a director, he wants to put showcase the movie as the way he sees it, and I'm sure that's pretty much what happened. I mean, the fact that you guys portrayed the characters. I mean, I'm sure he didn't yell at you guys. He seems like a pretty cool guy, but when it comes to your roles, I mean, how many shots did you have to do? Let me ask you that. I mean, when it came to per scene.
I think we did enough, and then one for good luck.
Nice.
So whether that took 12, 20, whatever it took. So I mean, there were times that we would like change the weather in a room without giving too much away. Right. We did some cool things on this movie.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because I come from more of a theater background. So coming into the like shooting a film scene, it's a very different dynamic. Like one of the things I wasn't prepared for is having to say the same line and remember remember the way that you delivered it and how you were sitting and all these various things, because you're going to do that same take from 4 or 5 different angles. And trying to keep
the
that
different
consistency
angles.
Yeah.
Like you're coming at it all different ways. It's wild to see it set up.
Yeah.
No,
then he's you. And he's doing it from you.
I mean, I've been in a few films when it comes to being out there, man, and it does get intense. I like it because it's like a controlled environment. I mean, it has to follow through, and it's just the fact that everybody, like a composer, I would say, he's playing everything and everybody's just going along with it. But Benji, I wanted to ask you about that because, of course, he had mentioned that he had some cast members that were in theater prior, and I said, man, I wonder if anything. I said, I wonder if you guys brought a little bit more theatrical, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, just because, I'll say this, like, I've seen movies and I'm like, okay, I can tell who's an actor and I can tell who's acting, because a lot of times, like, the actors actually, you're like, damn, like they nailed it, and it just seems a little bit more uniform, a little bit more controlled. I mean, do you think it played out like that when you were playing your role?
Yeah, kind of a funny story. I was putting together my audition videos for CJ, and one of his first notes was, "Man, I can tell that you're a theater actor. You just bring it back a little bit. You're a little big. Bring it bring it down, bring it back. Smooth it out." Because everything's accentuated in the theater. Like you have to be big and bold, and you're trying to make sure that the person in row 500 can see your gestures and all of that. And in the movie the camera's right here, so a little bit different. But yeah, that was really funny when CJ's notes is just reel it back a little bit.
Man, that's pretty cool though, man. And John, I mean, for yourself, man, how did you go about getting into this role?
Well, I auditioned as well. I think I came in on one of the last rounds of auditioned, but yeah, that was like a couple of months after that last round of auditions that we started filming. So it happened really, really fast for me. Like I came in as a kind of a newcomer. I didn't help with the short or anything like that before. So it was really, really an interesting process, though, to see it play out, like to see all of the different ways they got to do things. Because this was my first feature film, and man, it is so cool to be an iconic character like Watson. Like I got to learn so much about the character Dr. John Watson. Like, I didn't know he was a disgraced military soldier. And the reason he was disgraced is because he got hurt and then he got sick.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah. And so they just like, all right, dude, you got to go home.
You're a disgrace, by the way, but yeah, go home, right?
Yeah. So he gets home and he's just this disgraced soldier. So everybody's off fighting. And he's like, well, I don't know. I just kind of got sick and they sent me home.
Oh, man. Well, that's kind of crappy, man. But,
Yeah. But then he meets Sherlock and it's like an instant connection.
Yeah.
And they form this friendship, and he was like this sounding board and guide and conscience to Sherlock. And it's a really cool friendship to see.
No, you see, and I will say this because for myself, I mean, middle school, high school, reading novels as far as Sherlock Holmes. One of the things that I liked about it was the character was a detail. There was a lot of detail, reading the novel. Shows like what was it? God, and I thought about it earlier. Those NCIS, on TV, and I didn't think about it till like last week when I was like, okay, we're gonna do this. And I was thinking, man, no wonder I like those shows because they make you think, the whole Criminal Mind, the whole detail,
Yeah.
And I was thinking, man, that's wild because I had never put one in one, but the author himself, I mean, he did influence a lot of the, he played a big role on how they started investigating and doing everything as well. So that was pretty cool, man. I was like, okay, well, it makes sense, because I love those shows, man.
Well, like all the fundamental cartoons, like Bugs Bunny and all those guys they dressed up as Sherlock and stuff. Like we knew what Sherlock Holmes was.
Yeah. Before
Robert Downey Jr. We saw it,
No, for sure, man, and I agree. I mean, because
we knew what the hourglass was, and the hat, the pastiche hat, and we know what those things are.
Yeah. And not to finally, go back and see the character. But I mean, on this film, I mean, of course, one of the things that I liked about it, I mean, reading into it, and of course having the director on here was the fact that it portrays a lot of after effect as far as like what he's dealing with after all these years of investigating. And there was one of those real shows where they were talking about the Criminal Minds and how a lot of times now they have to give the investigators breaks because they don't want them to stay in that case too long and start losing it themselves. And so I was thinking like, man, like I wonder, it's a novel, but I mean, just to be able to know that he's held all those for years, just years and years of torment and torture and everything he's seen. And,
right.
I mean, at the end, you can only imagine how beat up, not just physically, but mentally he is.
Untethered without the constraints and knowledge of mental health issues.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, he's out there trying to live, and it's just like, man. But of course, I mean, when it comes to the film itself, I mean, when you guys saw it, I mean, you guys have seen it, right? Of course. When you sat down, were able to watch it. I mean, what were your thoughts?
For the trailer that came out?
For the trailer? I mean, yeah, just being able to see yourself on the screen. You're like, oh,
I like the trailer.
that trailer, man. That trailer is pretty awesome. Which if you haven't seen the trailer, you need to go. I mean, watch this first to the end and then go.
Oh yeah. Don't stop yet. Don't stop yet. But
don't go watch the trailer yet.
No,
I think the first thing that stood out to me about the trailer is the violins and the music, like Sherlock Holmes and a violin, and it starts just. And it's good. It's good.
Oh yeah. I mean, you were talking about Bugs Bunny earlier, man. I mean, a lot of the music back then was orchestra, so it's like all that you heard was opera, and that's another thing too. I mean, back then we didn't know we were opera fans, right? I mean, we heard it every day, but
right.
But that trailer, yeah, definitely, it was eerie. It was dark. It was just like, man, torture.
It was Tchaikovsky.
No, yeah, it definitely gets you. I've seen the trailer plenty of times, man. I go back to it, but I mean, as far as the family, I mean, how's everybody taking this as far as you guys being in the film?
It's been really, really exciting. My poor son, we have he's going to be 11 here in a few weeks, but I told him I was doing this movie, and he would know that on some of the weekends I would be gone for basically the whole day and not get home until well after he was in bed. And I told him, I'm getting to do this movie, and it's this really cool project. He goes, "Oh, great! When can I watch it?" And I have to say, "Well, I don't know that you're going to be able to watch this one, buddy. I'm so sorry."
18.
Because I mean, it's a fantastic movie, but it's this kind of very dark take on the Sherlock story, and it's done in such an amazing way. But I mean, I'm sure I'll be able to find a clip or two. It's like, yeah, that's me. Look,
man. And for yourself, John, I mean, what was your family's reaction you being in this?
I think they're mostly excited. It's Southern Texas, so everybody is very, a little taken aback that it's rated R, but it's okay because it's for the arts.
There you go.
But I think it's going to be a really, really powerful message as well. And I think it might help a couple people out.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I mean, we had just talked about mental illness, you know. I mean, it's
It
real.
deals with mental illness. It deals with addiction. It deals
Yeah.
with several things that are real. And it deals with overcoming things like that. And it deals with the destruction of things like that if you can't overcome it, you know?
Yeah,
And
was
let me
definitely.
ask you, I mean, being that we are all in San Antonio, I mean, I know locally, I mean, you guys have been here for a few years. Everybody keeps wanting or moving to San Antonio, right? We got everybody from California and New York and everybody. And I always tell people, I say, man, let them come in. I say, because come summertime, we'll see who sticks around, man.
Yeah. Yeah, because they gotta beat the heat.
And let me ask you, come summer, man, how do you guys deal with this heat? Let me ask you that. Let's get out of a little conversation real quick.
I don't know, man. I don't mind the heat too much. It's well, I guess I don't mind the cold either. So I'm actually from Kansas City. So I grew up in the Midwest, and it gets just as hot,
Yeah.
but not for as long and not quite as extreme. But the humidity there is pretty much just as bad. And I tell people back home, you know, they ask what the weather's like here, and I say, well, we have basically two seasons. We have hot and not quite as hot, and that's about how it goes.
Yeah, and the occasional ice storm every 5 years.
Oh yeah, random out of nowhere, right? For 2
Random.
days
Yeah, 5 to 7 years. You never know when it's coming.
Yeah.
Man, I'll say this. I mean, because I was born and raised here. I mean, you know, growing up, I've had I was a letter carrier for years. You know, and being out there in the heat, I mean, it was insane. You know, just being
Yeah.
able to. The first year I got there, it was just freaking crazy, man. Like I had to deal with a lot. But of course, you learn how to, you know, what to wear, what not to wear, because a lot of those were mistakes going in there. But I don't mind the heat. I love being out there, man. But it's just like, I mean, like last year, I think it was like 105 for like a month and a half or something, and that was like I couldn't even go outside and enjoy my yard. You know, we lost a tree doing one of the freezes we had a little, and we had to knock it down. So it's like now we ain't got no shade. So we'll see. You know, we're
That's
hoping.
a shame.
You know, but it's just, but yeah, you know, the heat can get extreme. You know, it's like a
Yeah.
you're not used to it, then yeah, you're going to be indoors in that central air, man.
Well, and it's the region makes a difference too. Like I grew up in Kerrville, and you know, I grew up in summers in Kerrville, and it's a different kind of summer in San Antonio. It's hotter. It's hotter and it's drier, you know? So it's amazing how just a couple of miles can change just the climate a little.
Well, and that's another thing too, because San Antonio, I mean, we're not, you know, we got Bandera, we got mountains out there on the left, we got up north, you know, it gets higher in altitude, so we're kind of like sunken into where a lot of times the storms don't hit us. You know, by the time they get here, they evaporate and we're good. You know, but when they do hit us, it's just, you know, power, you know, losing power. I mean, people can already barely drive, and then it gets worse, and people can't drive. Period. You know, so it just gets pretty bad. But yeah, you know, it's just something. I mean, I don't know. Being a letter carrier, I loved it. I just didn't like the driving, man. That's one thing. Now it's just if I can stay away from the streets, I'll be good.
So we filmed from March to November, and then we had another pickup date in January. Damn. So we saw the entire spectrum of Texas weather. Well, I tell you, we saw everything. We saw thunderstorms, lightning. We were freezing cold, huddled together in a car together. We were sweating out, just like putting cold compacts on each other to cool down because it was so hot. It was nuts. We experienced, and it was like camping out. Yeah. So it was a great rural experience of the hill country filming this movie for sure.
And I think I had asked him at one point as far as the change, because of course, you know, when you're filming, it's like, man, it's going to get cold. We got to hurry up, or you know what I mean? Like you can't capture like 2 seasons. And was that the reason for having to like shoot again in January, you said?
No, and a lot of the lightning that you're going to see in the movie is authentic.
Nice.
Like we had lightning set up, but we didn't need it because it was already lightning outside.
Oh man, that's cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And of course, Benji, man. I mean, of course, you were out there in the elements as well, man. I mean, what were your thoughts, bro? I mean, you were just like, give me a blanket and stay warm.
Yeah, it's the where we were filming was like an authentic 1900s house. So there's no electricity, there's no running water, and as John was saying, in those days, like there's no airflow in the house. So of course you have to like get the sound stage on the set right. So you have to shut the doors, shut the windows, make sure you have the optimum setting. And when you do that,
no breeze,
it's so brutal in there. So brutal and suffocating. And they have times where you go outside and like you're just shivering and just huddling next to each other. You become fast friends with your castmates. I'll say that.
Oh yeah. Everybody's best friends for those moments, man.
Trauma bonding for sure.
Oh, bro, I'm telling you. Now, of course, this film. I mean, you guys got the cool shirts, man. What else was released? I mean, was he able to get posters done as well?
Is it time for the announcement?
Well, funny you should mention that and talk about King of Segways.
Good.
We actually would like to make an announcement that we are going to be having an official contest for the film, and we are going to let the community of people out there in the world design the film's official T-shirt. So in honor of Sherlock Holmes Day, we are going to put a contest out and let people submit art drawings that they want to go on the T-shirt. And I think the details of that are going to be sent maybe in the comments are here later. There's going to be a link put up. Follow us on the social media, Sherlock Holmes Mare. We're on the Facebooks.
You'll go to SherlockHolmesMareOfTheNight.com, and there will be a T-shirt contest link. That'll take you and go over all the details for the T-shirt contest. And just to throw it out there, this contest, I mean, these T-shirts have already been worn in New Zealand at the Grand Canyon. We've been sent pictures all over the world of these T-shirts.
Right.
We've already hit 50,000 views on YouTube. So your design is going to be in front of a lot of people, and it should be something to get excited about, and it should be something like that you really put some effort into to get your design picked, because it's going to have some coverage, and we will flash your name all over it.
Worldwide, baby. Worldwide.
It's going to be a good experience.
No, for sure. You see, and that's one of the things I love, especially now with social media, man, because I personally networked. I mean, I told you guys we're going to be live on a few platforms. We're actually on one of the platforms in the Philippines, in Australia. So we're out there, man. So I'm making sure I've been making all those connections just to be able to get seen all over the world, because, it's like everybody's worried about Texas, which they should be. I love our state, but it's just, I mean, why stop there? Let's show everybody.
Yeah. So watch the teaser, get an idea for the movie. CJ is going to have the final say on the T-shirt design.
Nice.
But anyone, all ages, can put in up to 3 designs. Okay. And if you want to see all of the information, go to SherlockHolmesMareOfTheNight.com and go to the T-shirt contest link.
Sweet,
okay.
Bro. And I'll definitely post a link on the YouTube channel as well. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be on the comments. I'll make sure the other outlets, share it as well. But yeah, bro. I mean, it's pretty cool, because I mean, how many times do you get an opportunity like that? For a film. I mean, a feeture film.
Right. Yeah, it's really a cool opportunity. Yeah, for sure.
You see, man, and I know you guys were going to announce that, so I have my marker ready. Does it have to be on paper, or how do we do this image, bro? Because I want to enter this, man.
Yeah. Magic marker works. Yeah,
There you go. So if I screw up, I'll just erase it real quick, But
right.
But yeah, man. I mean, like I said, Sherlock Holmes. I mean, the whole, the novels, the stories, the TV shows. I mean, I've seen pretty much a lot of them. So on this, I'm excited. I mean, like I said, because it portrays the whole aftermath. What the man goes through as far as drug addiction, depression. I mean, everything that like we stated earlier, that people actually get help for now. It's like before, it's just like it's just murder and mayhem, and
yeah,
how to deal with it.
Yeah, it's a horror film. Like you could do it one in crayon that could be passable, you know.
I don't even know. Do they make crayons anymore? I have to check that out, man. But yeah, for sure, dude. I'm not good. I'll say that much. It'll be like a stick figure, but you'll notice I had in the little magnifying glass. That's it.
With the pipe and the glass.
Other than that, I can't go anymore, man. But yeah, of course, man. I mean, this film, once it's ready to go, and that's, what do you guys expect out of this? I mean, of course, it's a great thing to be able to come out in the feature film, but are you thinking, okay, you know what, like, if he comes back with something else, I'm sure you guys will keep working with the guy, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, working with CJ and seeing kind of his process and what he like how he crafts his vision has just been such a cool experience. And I've actually had the opportunity to work with him on a second short film that somebody else put together. Gary Wren was the author and director on that one, and it was really cool just to have that experience of coming in and working with CJ, and that part was a really challenging and complicated character to play. But seeing just the talent that CJ brings, like he's able to come in and just kind of reach and pull these things out of you, these places and feelings and emotions that you didn't really know if you could get to. So seeing that, I mean, I've kind of got a bug for it, and hopefully I get to keep finding work. And that's another thing about working with CJ here is he's local to San Antonio, and man, San Antonio has a lot of talent, and he gives people an opportunity to come in and showcase it.
Sweet, bro. And of course, I mean, when they came to the attire, I mean, I was expecting you guys to be wearing fur coats and magnifying glasses, but I mean, what were some of the pieces that you guys wore? I mean, was it something that you were like, man, I would never wear this now, or were there like some cool pieces that you're like, okay, maybe I can pull that off?
I actually don't think Benji and I can talk about that.
Hey, you know what? There is one thing I can mention that I wore that I will likely never wear again, and that is a mustache.
Oh
my
man.
goodness,
man, yeah.
My poor wife, bless her heart, she hated the mustache. Hated it. I made a deal with her. I was able to grow out like the full beard until the time came, and then until the time came to film. And then I had to shave the mustache off, but I mean we may have been sleeping in separate rooms for the duration of having the mustache off. I just throw that out there.
Oh man, and you know what? That's kind of cool that you actually grew that out, because I mean, did you ever think, okay, I'm gonna wear a fake one, or were you like, nah, man, I'm gonna get in character and get this done?
Well, I wanted it to be authentic, and that's something that CJ brought up early on too. Was he wants everything to be as authentic as possible, and I think you see that in the trailer. Looking at the wardrobe, everything looks like it's from the time, and Arthur Conan Doyle wore a pretty beefy mustache, so I had to get my mustache game on.
I was very impressed with how much you looked like some of the pictures of him. Like you did a good job.
Nice, man. No, yeah, I agree, man. Because of course, when it came, I saw the trailer, but I mean, I was thinking, when it came to attire, I was like, you know what? Like I said earlier, high school, I used to wear that little big old jacket and freaking my hat, right? But a lot of it was style, man. So I'm thinking, you know what? I mean, when it came to the movie, I was just curious to see, as far as what you guys were wearing, that you were like, okay, you know what? Maybe keep these in my closet, wear it for another day, but not any time.
Like the popped collars. I did have the pop collar. I might pull that off.
I had the Watson bowler hat.
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah, those are the best. I think I wore those during the '90s too, man. It's punk rock days, low phase, but I pulled it off, man. But let me ask you guys. Of course, the movie itself, man. I mean, once it was wrapped up, I mean, you said you had to, get rid of the beard. John, what did you get rid of, man? Did you get rid of anything?
So Watson is not a blonde. So I've worked this whole year to get my hair back because all last year I dyed it. Every Thursday I went into Kylie. She's an amazing stylist in Kerrville, and she gave me this spa treatment of a hair dye of what I don't remember the shade of brown, but it was delightful. I would akin it to fluffy gingerbread, possibly. It was a wonderful chocolate, natural looking brown. But my hair hated dye, so I had to keep dyeing it.
Oh man, it wouldn't stick.
No, it was, by Tuesday I looked like Ron Weasley coming out of the Polyjuice potion, like redhead, you know.
Yeah, let me ask you, because you had dyed your hair. I mean, did you notice anybody not so much treating you differently, but I mean, did people approach it differently?
I don't think I could get over it myself.
Oh.
I hated it. Like I'm just a blonde. I don't know. I'll do anything for a role, you know. But
no, for sure, man.
It was fun being a brunette for a little while. I guess I did get more head nods than with a blonde head.
That's cool, man. I would have, I would have been curious to see, because that's, I mean, especially with the beard. I mean, I don't know if, I mean, Ben, did people look at you differently when you were growing that out, man? I mean,
oh yes, oh yeah. Especially when it was just the mustache. It was and similar to John, Conan Doyle's hair was a little bit darker than my natural hair color. So I went into Kylie as well, who I will just second the notion. She's absolutely amazing. But so she colored my hair, and she colored the mustache. She got the little brushes going in there,
and the eyebrows.
Oh, eyebrows, yeah, eyebrows too. Yes, my eyebrows are pretty light. I mean, they're nice eyebrows, but they're a little on the light side.
Man, and of course, I mean, so did your hair stick with the color?
Yeah, color stayed pretty well for me. I didn't really have it didn't reject it like it did John. So I got to be honest, John, I didn't actually know you were a blonde until after we had wrapped.
Everybody knows I'm a blonde.
Man, there you go.
I've reintroduced myself to my preacher 4 times in the past 2 years.
Man, and of course, as far as now, man, I mean, because you guys got to work so close together, I mean, did that kind of rekindle a relationship? Or you guys, like, do you guys message each other, keep in touch?
Well, frankly, John, I couldn't stand it. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's
that's actually a good point. You bring up a good point. I've been meaning to talk to you about this.
There you go. I'm gonna have to block you, man. Take you on my top 5 on MySpace, right? Really a little bit, man.
It was really interesting. Like kind of getting to know John. It seems like, come to find out, we have a lot of similar, backgrounds, similar interests. Kind of like kindred spirits in the background. Kind of, I don't know, blossomed into something pretty cool.
That Benji and I had in particular, yeah, for sure.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. I mean, especially, I know, I talked to Goodwin, and I mean, he had to, as far as like people wanting to hang out, he said, man, I'm a stay at home guy. He does, and I'm the same way. I'm like, dude, I'd rather stay home and enjoy my home, enjoy my space. But I mean, for him to be hanging out with kids or younger people, he's like, man, that's not, it's not him.
I'll say creative follows creative, though. Like, you're gonna find, if you continue to create, you will find yourself surrounded by creative people, and hopefully you pick some good ones.
No, I know for sure. I agree. Now, as far as acting, I mean, of course, Benji, you said this was your first, feature film. You've done some shorts. What are you looking at now? I mean, did you like it? Or are you like, man, I want to keep doing this?
I really do like it a lot. It's very different from, as I mentioned, very different from doing theater. But it's like you have to find that motivation to be who you're portraying in the moment in very different ways. When you're in theater and you're in front of an audience, there's that instant feedback and that just the air of people, and you kind of feed off that, and that kind of molds your performance a lot. Whereas with the film acting, you rely a lot on your, I mean, in theater too, you rely on your fellow actors, but there's no, like, you don't know how it's going to look or how it's going to come across until, way down the line when it hits the editing room, and hopefully you have a good director who kind of gives you direction and kind of feeds you into it, but you just have to trust and feel safe, that they're gonna, get you to the right place where you need to be. But it's something I really like. And I don't know that I'm going to be proactively pursuing it, but I'm kind of putting my ear to the ground, and if the right opportunity comes across, I mean, I'm not gonna say no, because it really is just a really, really cool and different way to just engage and kind of pour yourself into a project. And I have a day job, so the acting thing is something I kind of have to have on the side. But getting to do the couple of projects that I have with CJ has definitely put a I don't know, put a bug in my ear to kind of want to look for some more opportunities if they pop up.
No, for sure, man. And John, what do you say, man? What are you looking at?
Oh, I've been working with several different production companies, doing some bit work. So that's been fun. This has been my biggest role by far. So that's been super exciting. But I'm looking forward to we're doing another film with CJ in August, and it'll be called Miracle. And if anyone wants to check out our Indiegogo campaign, we still have a couple of spots available for Miracle, as far as possible acting places and producer spots. So we are still, we're almost there on the planning side of that, and looking forward to starting production in August on that one.
Sweet, man.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm sure you're preparing for that cold weather, right?
Yes, in August.
There you go. I don't know. And you know what? Let me ask you this, because I was telling one of my coworkers earlier, as a matter of fact, I said, man, summer's going to be all the way to August, because I know it's still hot, dude. Like later on in the year, it's just, I don't even remember when it gets cold. I just know it does, but yeah.
It's about February, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then it stops being cold like mid-March. You might get an extra week there, but
a little bit of rain, and then the heat, and then
it's fall. It's summer until you can go swimming in December a lot of times.
No, yeah, I think as far as the rivers, shoot, man. I know somebody had posted earlier about a cool place to go swimming at, and I said, man, I haven't gone swimming in a minute, so I'm not even sure what's out there. I know the rivers are out there as far as Brownfield, Medina, and everywhere else, but
well, I guess you can go swimming at any temperature, but should
be like a polar bear, be a little cold.
Yeah.
But gentlemen, man, I appreciate you guys jumping on here. I mean, as far as news, bro, I mean, is there anything else you guys can drop before we wrap this up?
Was I forgetting anything, Benji?
Not that
Sherlock Holmes Day, Arthur Conan Doyle's birthday.
Happy birthday. There you go.
Hey, Benji.
Little Sherlock Holmes pop.
Benji's performance of Arthur Conan Doyle is going to be outstanding in Sherlock Holmes Mare of the Night, coming soon to a theater near you.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I mean, I love it, and I'm not just saying that. When I interviewed the guy, I said, man, I mean, the whole thing gave me the feels where I was like, wow, you know what? Like it just that short trailer, like you feel how emotional, how it gets. You talked about it not being for kids. I agree, because you're gonna have to be a certain age to be able to understand. Understand what he's going through, and that's a lot.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely want to just stress that one of the most compelling things about this project, and especially in kind of today's age, kind of what we've been talking about with just the idea of just the mental things that people go through, and just the idea of this movie and the Sherlock character. What would that look like if it was a real person having to go against these psychological monsters? Like, what does that do to a person's mind? Like, who do they become after a lifetime of doing that? And CJ kind of tells that story in a way that I think a lot of people will be able to relate to, because it makes it real. What if Sherlock was a real guy, and this is what he had to deal with, and you get to see the implications of that in this movie, and it's dark, but it tells such an amazing story. So I mean, if you haven't seen the trailer, definitely check out the teaser trailer. We want to build hype for this movie, get the word out, spread the word. I think this is really going to be a really special project.
There you go, man. Maybe you guys will do a movie premiere out there in the Philippines, man, or Australia. We'll see. We'll try to set something up for you guys, man.
Oh yeah,
know, brother. But of course, my man, thank you guys for jumping on there. Everybody else, man, follow up Sherlock Holmes Mare of the Night website, of course.com, Facebook. Appreciate you guys jumping on. Don't hang up yet. Everybody out there, of course, once again, this is Spider Coming Soon Podcast. Until next time, follow up.